I'm going to level with you guys. Sometimes having a YouTube channel is a drag. I honestly struggle to do it day by day sometimes, but sometimes it's an absolute joy and I love having a channel. And today is one of those days because I'm bringing you one of my all-time favorite shoes. Of course, every single day talking about sneakers is great. Of course, finding out about sneakers and different upcoming releases and the biggest heat that's out there, and getting the news a little bit before some people, being able to share with you guys the latest, and maybe you haven't seen it and you don't know about it and you drop me a comment down below and you're like, man, I didn't know about this shoe, thanks for telling me. Those days are great. I love it when it's like that, but other days can be a bit of a drag when you're doing it every single day, like daily content about sneakers, even on the weekends, non-stop for almost 700 consecutive days. And today, like I said, is one of those days when I just love it. I love being able to do this because it's a sneaker that I love. I totally love the Boost line. Anything with Boost on it, I'm a huge fan of. And I've got multiple Boost sneakers, maybe as many as 10, from NMDR 1s, NMDR 2s, Boost, Ultra Boost 3.0s, Ultra Boost 4.0s, and I can't even count how many Boost sneakers I've got. So it's great to be able to talk about one of my favorite shoes, especially because it's an easy shoe for me to get in my size, which is a little bit bigger than the regular sizes. So that's great. But of course, that Boost midsole is just absolutely silky. It's like walking on silk cotton wool, man. It's an amazing thing to put your foot into. And when they come up with a retro, a 1.0 that's just got this history throughout the line of the shoe, this and the burgundies, which are also going to drop around about the same time. It's a big shoe. It's a great shoe for me to talk about. One of my favorites. So without further ado, let's get into this and talk about the upcoming retro release of the Adidas UltraBOOST 1.0 Olive. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので毎日見てください。And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today we're having a look at this upcoming release of a retro. And I don't know if we can say retros when it comes to UltraBOOST. If it's an UltraBOOST 1.0, let's see, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 1920. So 7 or 8 years, 6 or 7 years since these guys came out for the first time. And they're already starting to recycle back to the 1.0s. They've done it quite a lot in the recent times. And then this, the olive colorway and the burgundy, is a sort of classic, a true OG UltraBOOST 1.0 sneakers. And here we have that retro with a couple of little changes, a few little tweaks here and there. And I'm here today to tell you what they've got right about this shoe and what's not so right. And the reason I can do that really, really well is because of these right here. I don't have a clue if you guys know what this is or even care, but I'm still going to tell you. This is a heavily worn, very, very heavily worn UltraBOOST 3.0. You can see the discoloration in the boost there that's turned to almost yellow. I'm guessing that's dirt, not like yellowing from over time. This is my shoe, by the way, and I do know it's been worn. And you can see the outsole there is worn away almost through to the boost. I actually have a pair of NMDR 2s that I wear for work, and they have worn away through to the boost. So these guys have had a fairly healthy amount of wear, especially when you look at the way the Continental outsole has worn away around about the front section there. And by the way, if me, transitioning back and forward with a shoe like this is messing up the green screen, I'll just leave the green screen to be messed up because this is where your focus needs to be right now. And it's something to do with the camera, the green screen, the light or something like that. You get a mess around the corners of the screen sometimes, not always, when I hold the shoe real close to the camera. So if that's happening, sorry about that, but focus on the shoe, not the green screen. But this is the Trace Cargo. It's a limited edition UltraBOOST 3.0, and you can tell when it's a 3.0 very easily by, hopefully you can see in there, the font on the insole is in a sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, a thin font, whereas the 4.0s had a sort of bubbly font. That's a really quick way to tell the difference between 3.0s and 1.0s. Now the shoe that's under the spotlight today is a 1.0, so there's really significant differences between the way that the prime knit is knitted on 1.0s and 3.0s and 4.0s, but it is that classic silhouette, the standard prime knit, the full length boost unit, and then the cage on the side. And it's when the 4.0s transitioned into the UltraBOOST 19s or 2019s, and they played with the cage that people got a little disappointed, and the line kind of lost its energy. So when they do bring out a retro, it's great to see it in this silhouette with this cage and this heel counter. And it's a really important feature, and it's one of the main features of this particular shoe, this heel counter here. They play around with that with UltraBOOST, and hopefully what you can see here is it's a kind of mesh And you can see like it's very hard material, and in the case of this, guys, it's like a sort of almost like an inlay that goes around. There's the outside edge, and then this bit's like a panel that's inlaid into it. Very hard material, and it's one of the main features on today's shoe. And as well, this up here is leather on the case of these Trace Cargos. A very nice shoe, very comfortable shoe, one of my favorites in the collection. I'm glad to bring that shoe to you guys so we can talk about this shoe and look at what they've got right and what they maybe haven't quite got right on the shoe. So first things first, let's look at the structure of the shoe and the construction of it. It is, like I said, an UltraBOOST 1.0, and if you zoom in on the forefoot of the front towards the toe box, the front area of the shoe, you can see there's very clear lines that kind of, it's almost like a gradient from the outside edge, and then there's a line, and then the middle sort of area to give it some kind of definition. And again, if we go back to these, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see for you guys there. You can see that definition on the toe box has gone by the 3.0s, and it's a very primed shoe all the way around. So that's one major feature on these shoes, and that priming is very important because what they've done is they played with the olive to add a little bit of color in there to give it a little bit more contrast and definition between the different green colors that are going together in that priming. Then if we come back along the shoe to the cage, like I said, that's an important cage. UltraBOOST 1.0 through 4.0 kept that cage, but when they got to 2019s, they decided to change it, much to the loss of the line, I might add. But it's green on these guys, just as it's green on these guys here. But then if we travel back, some of the significant features on this shoe happen around about the ankle and the heel area. The first one is the materials on the top line. You can see these guys here keep that prime net running all the way through the back end of the shoe, but when you look up here, you'll be able to see that there's a more mesh or nylon material being used on the back quarter, back third of the shoe. And then if you go down below that to the heel cup, like I said on these guys here, this was in olive with a kind of mesh, kind of grid effect, or mesh effect. But these guys here are going with a black, and then also on top of that, usually they choose one or the other, the same color lettering as the heel counter, and then you don't have any contrast or something completely different, so you have contrast. But what they've done with this guy is the word ultra is in black to match that black heel counter, but the word boost is in silver to give it a bit of contrast. That's slightly unusual, but not, unwelcome on a shoe like this. And then underneath all that, you've got that beautiful boost front to back, which is an incredibly comfortable thing to walk on. Even if you're like anti-Adidas, no, I hate Boost, I hate Yeezy, I hate anything about Adidas, get yourself a pair of UltraBOOST, whether they be 1.0s or 2020s, and you'll never forget the feeling of walking in your first UltraBOOST, because it really is an incredible cushioning system. Then onto the outsole, the standard Continental rubber outsole right in the middle of there, the torsion system. And this is the first hint of orange on these guys, the torsion system in the middle there. I'm going to take you through some more orange hits on this shoe as we go up and take a look down into the insole. You can see a very orange insole on these guys, and then dragging it back a little bit from there towards the tongue branding. Like I said on my guys here, it's a leather tongue branding that matches the olive of the Trace Cargos, but in the case of these guys here, it's orange to go with that torsion bar in the insole as well. What I can't show you is the end of the laces. The lace tips are also in orange as well. I'm not entirely sure why they've gone with this quite significant amount of orange in those major four places: torsion, insole, tongue branding, and the lace tips. I'm not sure why they went with orange on that, but that's their decision. It doesn't look too bad. Orange and green aren't bad together, although for me, I would have preferred an all green, all olive sneaker rather than having those hits of orange in there. But all in all, it's that classic silhouette. It's definitely going to be a great shoe and very, very comfortable. 1.0s are kind of hot right now because of their retro feel, but I'm not really getting it. I said I'd tell you the things they got right on the shoe, and I've already gone through most of those, but the things I don't think they got right on it is it seems to be like two different shoes. It doesn't feel like a consistent shoe front to back. It's a bit like LeBron 18s feel like two halves of two different shoes crammed together, and it's the same with these guys. It feels like two different shoes have been crammed together, and the sort of olivey cargo green towards the back end of the shoe is giving way towards the front to almost a pea green feel to it, and I don't think it quite jives the way I would want it to jive. So even though it's a classic silhouette, it's a classic colorway, a classic retro, for me there's just a little bit about it that doesn't quite fit my eye. But that's just me, and you might have a difference of opinion, which you'll surely tell me about in the comments down below. For now though, it's time for me to chip off and get this video tucked away. It is Thursday night, just after 11. I'm going to go throw this up into the computer and then get me some sleep, because work tomorrow, full-time work, daily content on YouTube, family man, busy, lots to do. So without further ado, I'm going to shut this down. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I'll do what I do at the end of every single video, which is tell you I do this every single day. So you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.